I mean, he looks like the type of player we could build this save around. So welcome to this year's Build a Nation. My name is Paul, also known as the Northman. And hopefully you are excited as we try to take Egersund from the third tier of Norwegian football all the way to the top, and then build the whole nation and become the biggest nation in world football. Now, if you haven't checked out the introduction video, make sure you do go and check that out. I go out into the real world and go and visit Egersund's ground and just talk a little bit about this save itself. Now, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you do go down and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss any content going forward. And make sure you do check out my other stuff, my hints and tips, my guides, my experiments, all that other content. It's very much appreciated. Now, if you can go down into the comments, and I want everyone to comment what team you are managing at the minute, as well as let me know what your thoughts are on this save. It does help the YouTube algorithm, the more comments we get and the more likes on the video, etc. So if you can go and do that, it does help me out. So here we are, my local club, Egersund Idretts Club, and I'm very, very excited to get started with this club. So we start in the third tier, and as you can see, we have a 2,600 capacity stadium. It does have the ability to expand, so hopefully as we go up we can expand it before we do hopefully move on to bigger and better things. You never know, we could build our own ground in 10 years on the game. We'll find out. So as you can see, in 2011 they won promotion up into the third tier, and since then they've been a top half side for most of the time. It was only in 2017 they came ninth. Apart from that, they've been in and around the top, and as I'm recording this, they are one game away from promotion to the second tier, which I'm going to be attending at the weekend, and it's just mad, and hopefully we can achieve what they are achieving and surpass that in the game. Now, to help us with that, we are starting with £500,000 in the bank. Now, we are using pound sterling because more people around the world will understand the pound compared to the krona. If that stands 6 million krona, for example, it's a bit confusing for people thinking you have $6 million, £6 million, etc. So we're going to go with pounds, even though we are playing in Norway. Now, we do have some money to spend on the transfer budget, but we're not going to use that because it looks like we are going to have to move that over under the wage budget to make sure we are not overspending there. And that is going to be quite key because we are expected to work within our wage budget, as you can see here. And also we are expected to grow the club's reputation, but I think that will come as we look to improve on the field as well. So that should be able to be done. Now, in terms of the current season, we are expected to finish top half and be competitive in the cup. So no set expectations in the cup, but do the best you can, be competitive, put on a good showing, and then also finish top half in the league. Now, there's 14 teams in the league, so 7th place or above is where we need to finish. Top team wins promotion to the second tier. Second place goes into a playoff. Now, they will play against the team who plays in this Post-Nord League 2. So they will play whoever comes second here. Then the winner of that game will come up against 14th place from the division above. Now, in terms of the season preview, Lynn are expected to go up. They are 5 to 6 odds on. Now, in real life, just reverting back to that again, currently we are joint on points, but 5 goals better in terms of the season with 1 game to go. And the final game of the season is at home, but it's not at home because the local council closed our pitch. So it's a 1 hour, 28-minute drive to where we actually played at home. But fingers crossed we can get over the line. We've had a couple of huge results recently. But third favourites, 9 to 5. And yeah, I think we have a good chance. I'm a bit nervous due to the fact that we're spending too much on our wages. And one of the biggest things about Football Manager is balancing the books early on. And I do worry we might have to remove a few people to just make sure we're not spending too much. And discussing spending too much moves us onto the squad for the first time in this save. And looking at the highest earners, we have 3 players who are currently on £600 a week. We have Stian Mikkelsen, who is an absolute dominant winger. I'm actually shocked by his attributes, the fact that his flair is only 9 out of 20, and in real life he's just a creative wizard, so that's a bit harsh. And at £600 a week, our highest earner, at first look, I think he might have to leave, which is a bit upsetting. We have our goalkeeper who's on loan from Lillestrøm. We're going to have to hold on to him because our main goalkeeper unfortunately broke his leg and is out for the season. So we do need to hold on to him. And then we have Chris Slaveland, the captain, been through the academy, went off to Sandnes to chase the dream in the second tier, end up coming back, captaining us, and yeah, hopefully leading us to promotion. Now, a couple of players who have come through the academy, like Chris Slaveland, is the likes of Valon Berisha. He came through the Egerton Academy before moving on to Viking Stavanger, RB Salzburg, Lazio, Dusseldorf, Melbourne City, and Reims. So players like that have come through the academy, as well as the Viking legend Trippic. He started at Egerton as well. I think he actually came through at Lyngdal, but then moved to Egerton. That was where he got his break before moving on to Molde. But clearly shows that the Egerton Academy is one to be feared among Norwegian clubs. Now, one thing I have noticed is we don't have a single player over the age of 28, and we do have a few youngsters in there. And when we look at them, you do have the likes of Knapskog, who is only 16 years old and looks really, really solid. Resolute personality, right-footed. He's already played 2 times for the first team, even though he's only 16. Very talented player. You have Jonas Jørgensen, who, again, central defender in the game. He is labelled as a midfielder in real life, but central defender. 6'2", by the way, at 16. I don't actually know this kid, but I'm thinking track him down in real life. I want to. He can't be 6'2" at that age. That's just ridiculous. There's no need for that. Then obviously we have let me fix this. He has a nickname. I did speak to Matthias, who is the daily leader at Ike, and just asked him. His nickname is Fanny, so we're going to call him that because I really can't pronounce his actual name. But again, another player who just looks very, very talented, and he looks like someone we could build the squad around at right back. And then you've got Jørgensen in central defence, Knapskog in central mid, and then just when you were thinking, wow, a team of WONDERKIDS, yeah, Ulrik Sæther looks just an insanely talented defensive mid. 6'2", fairly ambitious personality, and again, I just feel like we've hit the motherlode with some of these youngsters at Ike, which just look like we could develop something very, very special. And then you've got some other talent like this Hein Larsen, 20 years old, came through the Viking Academy, and again looks really talented, and again is somebody who could be with us for years to come alongside Chris Slaveland in central mid. Now, one of the issues I want to point out with Football Manager is I always click to add players and staff to playable teams, and that's one of the issues. Is a lot of teams might not have a youth team, they might not have any staff at all, so clicking that does fix that. But with the positive, there's always negatives, and we have a few negatives have popped up here. So we have a head of youth development in Marius Kram, and he's okay. He's a Nugent, he's okay, but he's on £1,100 a week. That's crazy. We have a technical director, again, generated by the computer, and he's on £1,000 a week. It's just insane. Now, a friend of mine, Hawken, who is the director of football, we need to speak to him because he's milking us dry as well at £950 a week. So, yeah, we are struggling financially at the minute. We have a loan manager. We don't need a loan manager. So that is something that needs to be sorted. Now, one thing I did report to SI in the beta, and it is frustrating it's not being fixed, is John is down as a coach where he is the actual head of youth development at Ike. So it's very frustrating that he's not actually labelled in his correct position. And when I've reported it during the pre-game, they've not even fixed it. Yes, I know it's a data thing and the data bit is locked, but when these type of issues are flagged in alpha and recognised and seen, you think they would get that fixed. But all in all, this was our introduction to the squad. All in all, this was us meeting the team, looking at our expectations, checking what we have, checking how much money we have, being shocked by some of the talent we have in this club, and getting excited for the journey ahead with Ike, with Norwegian football, as we look to build a nation.